Last week, you got to know a little bit more about our judges, Aniko and Gordy, and Abby and Paul. They've been working with their teams to give them a chance to win a £15,000 prize, which is a Formula One retreat. And what's really exciting is you, the viewer, get to vote for who you think should be the winner of this exciting competition. So who's it going to be? And this week, they get faced with their first challenge. Let's see how they get on. Okay, welcome. Who's surprised to see me? Yeah. All right, so my name's Tom Heaney, and I'm really excited to work with you today. It's a real honour and privilege to be with the judges. Now, I'm actually going to be with you now all the way through this whole process. And today especially, I'm excited because it's rent to rent. And you've got a challenge coming up, which we're going to explain very shortly. So, one of you has kind of rejoined us since last week.
Guys, I'm one of Cynthia's mentors.
Yes, yes.
And what she got told is that I'm going to struggle to take you any further a week ago, didn't I?
Yes.
Do you think Cynthia deserves a second chance?
Yes.
We're going to need more noise than that.
So what happened then?
I've got a wild card and I used it. So I, against the better judgment of some of the other judges, they can speak for themselves, brought Cynthia back in because if you're going to mark it out of 10, Cynthia, that presentation was a 0. A complete 0. But Cynthia's got a lot more to offer than that, so I've blown my wild card already and she's back in the competition.
Okay, so we've got a challenge for you today, and Paul's going to explain it very shortly. Who's feeling a bit apprehensive, a bit nervous? Yeah? Or unsure of what's going to happen? So Paul, can you put them out of their doubt or misery of what's going to happen?
Sure. Over the next 2 hours, you are going to take some massive action, or you're going to get judged for that. So you're going to come back in 2 hours' time, you're going to tell us how you did with the challenge. And today's challenge is all about rent-to-rent service accommodation. So what we are doing is we are testing you against the full range of property strategies. And the one that we're starting with is rent-to-rent service accommodation. So you all know what rent-to-rent service accommodation is, even if you don't do it. So let's make absolutely sure we all understand what it is. It is renting a property from somebody on a month-to-month basis and then renting it out by the night and making a fortune in the process. We want you back here in 2 hours' time with a brand new rent-to-rent service accommodation unit. Over to you.
The task is have a service accommodation unit in the next 2 hours. Now that can be done in so many different ways. But ultimately keep it simple, and what's the easiest line to get from A to B without maybe what you'd immediately think. That makes sense? Let's get cracking.
Okay. Phones and laptops.
I'm just going to wait for your answer.
Yeah, I'll go find out.
So rent to rent for me is where you take a house that you don't own, so someone else owns it, you agree to rent it for a period of time, usually 3 or 5 years, but you don't live in it, so you don't rent it as a tenant. What you do with it is you put other people in it, so you can put either tenants in it or you would put guests in it, and you make money that way. And then you make your money from the difference from the rent you collect from your people being in it and the rent you pay to the landlord.
Solid option. New build development. So I think it'd be good at the end to talk through all the different ideas.
Yeah. Oh, really? Are you?
That'd be great. Yeah.
When you're saying you're writing it up?
Just confirming our numbers here just now to work out revenue, profit, and hopefully we'll have that all ready to present.
And she explains to me, is it the tax issue she wants to solve?
Okay, so you've got 40 minutes left.
So I've just gave him a call. I told him my criteria is that I'm looking for properties for serviced accommodation, and these are the ones that he says that I can have.
is a property for rent and for sale. If it's for rent and for sale, that is screaming from the vendor's perspective or for the potential landlord's perspective, I'm not really sure what I want to do with it. I know that I want to offload it, but I don't particularly know, do I want to sell it or do I want to rent it? So top tip number one, if you see any property that is for sale and to rent, wide open for a rent to rent and wide open for a lease option as well. Now, if you don't know what a lease option is, you're going to have to wait and watch future episodes.
Okay, that's 5 minutes left, so start getting your presentations ready. Start getting clarity and real concise on how you're going to explain what your deals are, or whether you haven't got any at all. Well then, 2 hours went quickly.
Yes.
Who went straight to the agents or straight to direct to vendor and try and get some leads? Who actually thought outside the box a bit more and started thinking about the network and how they can bring deals in?
Yep.
So judges, what are you looking for? Paul?
Results. We're at that stage now. Action speaks louder than words. Clear task, want some rent-to-rent deals, and I'm just looking for best number of deals in the best place that are going to make the best amount of money.
Abby, what about yourself?
I'm looking for someone who's kept it simple, basic, simple, and found a rent-to-rent SA because that was the quickest route for 2 hours.
So then, over to you. We're going to get you to stand up one by one and tell us how you got on. Chris and Sen, all yours.
Yeah, so we had a four-pronged approach to this. Was using our network, using agents, using our extended network through the community, and then using a contracting client that we have been working with for a bit of time recently. So first point of call, we started thinking about, outside the box, outside agents, who do we know that might have property that can leverage existing landlords that we know, like you say, Abby. So that sparked a conversation that I heard recently about a tenancy that was coming to the end of the lease. So got the phone to them and they were happy to secure it as a rent to rent for us. So it's a 2-bedroom property in our area. We know works well. We've run the numbers on it. Can we share the numbers?
We'll come to the numbers. Just worth saying that these are prioritised in us thinking through path of least resistance. So obviously family contact in the network, a piece of information that Chris remembered from a couple of years ago or so.
Yeah.
The agent who we have sourced property from before, the contact who's a developer and also runs an SA management company, so thinking, put two and two together, they could have a new build plus manage for us, hands off, and a contractor client of ours. Reason being, where is the demand right now that you want some property to fill the demand with? And they're ranked in order of, I guess, ease. But at the moment, it's one option secured,
Okay.
or one rent to rent secured, and it's £750 guaranteed rent.
So what I like about these boys is that one of the systems when you are sourcing deals is actually following up previous leads. So what part of their methodology was, okay, we had a landlord who had a property who said they didn't need their services in the past, and they went and said, can we help you now? And it was a no before, and now it's a yes. So there's learning for that for people watching this right now. So I was really impressed by that, boys. Timing. Cynthia, tell us what happened to yourself.
Because I'm based in London and the JV investor's based in London as well, she's got a pot of money and the money doesn't go too far in London. So I've been doing research outside London. So I've met up with an agent in Liverpool, which I was researching buying properties with the plan to refinance and keep doing that because me and my JV partner have got one for me, one for you deal. So this is how I got in contact with this agent, and I contacted this agent and basically I gave him the criteria of what I was looking for, and I was thinking of an SA for contractor market. So I asked him specifically for properties that we could use for serviced accommodation, which I asked him for 3 4-bed houses, and he gave me 2 in Liverpool. that I'm going to JV with him for the management of them. And we've agreed a market rent of 700. I then went to do some research on booking.com and Airbnb to find out what the nightly rates are. I got between 120 per night to up to 180. So I made it that my base rate would be for 4 people, 120, going up to £15 per person per night, up to 180 per night. And at 50% occupancy rate, I worked out that it should be around 720 profit from the rent to rent at 120, and for 8 guests at 50% occupancy rate, a profit of 1,800
Well done.
a month.
I was dubious what you would do, Cynthia, because I've watched you for the last few months, and you've been doing lots of networking, which is great, but I've not really seen, you looked at a big commercial deal that didn't go through, so I've not really seen stuff come ahead for you. So I was dubious, but it just shows you what you can do in just 2 hours, which is phenomenal.
So in that 2 hours, every time I was going in to see Cynthia, she was always on the phone. I could never get a word in edgewise. She was just constant. So Cynthia's come back and she's on fire.
All right.
Well done.
Okay, so hope you enjoyed this episode. Catch up next time to see how the other millionaire makers get on with their challenge.
So there we go. You can see it can be done. So my challenge to you is, can you do it in 2 hours? Share your comments below on your results, and remember to subscribe and share this so we can really help more people just like yourself create financial freedom through property.